Get ready, Staten Island. It's time to celebrate 5 years of Ferry Hawks baseball.
The Ferry Hawks are back at SIUH Community Park this week against the Hagerstown Flying Boxcars. A 5-game series starting Wednesday with first pitch at 6:30. Thursday at 4 p.m., it's Jewish Heritage Night. Friday at 7 p.m., it's Soccer Night and kids glow around the bases postgame. Saturday at 6:30, it's Broadway Night with postgame fireworks and Broadway Rave. Sunday at 1:30, it's Military Appreciation Day and the kids run around the bases.
Visit ferryhawks.com now to lock in your seats.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
In the squadron, they called him Bullets, but we call him Greg Kelly. Greg Kelly is on the air
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Something really dynamite. It's sunk in over the weekend. Even though I have talked about it before, it hit me hard. Hey, a lot's going on, by the way. You heard about the walkout, President Trump walking out on Meet the Press. Forget that. Even though that was very cool, it was the probably best performance I've ever seen President Trump have in that environment, a talk show environment, one-on-one interview. He dominated. He was articulate. He explained, and in the most responsible way, responsible, powerful leadership. That's what I saw on a host of issues, whether it was Iran, the weaponization fund. I was particularly proud of that. His concerns about a free and fair election. You know, you're allowed to have those concerns. It was just great from beginning to end. There's another little thing going on. It's kind of an inside media story, but it's so fascinating. It transcends the media. It shows you what a bitch baby Scott Pelley. It's kind of funny to hear a grown man speak in the manner he speaks after he loses his job. Hey, you took on the boss and you got fired. That's like a cardinal rule. Do not do that. All right? You become fireable when you start, no, I'm not going to do that, boss. No, boss, you work for me now. No, it does not work like that. Whether you work at CBS News, the 5 and 10, McDonald's, biggest law firm in the world, everybody has a boss. Every single person in the world has a boss. I actually have wondered, do presidents have bosses? Not really, right? But at the same time, their power is not absolute. Remember when Joe Biden, he didn't want to quit the race. They made him. Who made him do that? Who was the boss of him? Who made him do that? Chuck Schumer? George Soros? How did they do that? Everybody has a boss in some way, shape, or form. So you can't be such a bitch. It's hilarious to see. He is 69 years old, and it looks like he just got out of middle school, right? Doesn't know how the way the world works. I have a report here that a deputy sheriff in Butler, Pennsylvania, was in communication with Thomas Crooks 2 days before the assassination. Now, what in the hell is that all about? My friends over at Judicial Watch are hammering out the final details. I'm going to go through that. It's very, very interesting. And the other thing I just want to say about Jill Biden, look, as you know, my friend is in jail, Bill Stevenson, under suspicion of murdering his wife. He was arrested. She died in late December. He was arrested in early February. No obvious signs of trauma. This tells me in part that it's not an open and shut case, right? There's something going on here, something weird. And they haven't released the indictment. They haven't released hardly anything. No autopsy. It's just a crazy, crazy case. Now, I have proof. Absolute, just smoking gun. You can't avoid it. Proof that they did something really bad to my friend Bill. It's 100% clear as day. Now, if I go through the book, I will show you. Now, Jill Stevenson, I'm sorry, she was Jill Stevenson. Now she's Jill Biden. She was Jill Jacobs when she was born. She has led a charmed life, wouldn't you say? Being the president, being the married to the president, Air Force One. She's written like 3 books, magazine covers, friends with the Obamas, right? The wife of a vice president, the wife of a president, and for many decades, the wife of a United States senator. You know, that's who she married. She married him when he was almost done with his first term in the U.S. Senate. My wife married me. I don't even think I was working. I mean, like, we've enjoyed a journey together. She was kind of installed at the top, installed at the tippy top, very tippy top. So she has a lot of things, right? She just got $1 million plus for this book. She has other money-making ventures, Hunter's paintings and the rest, Joe and his slush fund and the rest. I mean, on and on and on and on and on. It's really kind of an amazing little arrangement they had. So despite all of her achievements in the financial world, she's still bitter about something that happened 51 years ago. And that is the status of a bar in Wilmington, Delaware. It makes the book. Now, do you have that? Did you find that? Okay, good. You got to listen to this and remember everything she has done, where she's been. Air Force One, flying around the world. The richest and most beautiful people in the world. All over the place. And she's still hung up on this bar and her first divorce. Go ahead, if you don't mind.
When my first marriage ended in my mid-20s, I was thrown into a financial panic. I'd married at 18. I didn't have a career or even a college degree. My then husband owned a popular college bar that he held on to. I wound up with less than a quarter of what I imagined to be our shared money. I swore that I would never be in that vulnerable position again.
So, you see all that stuff, right? My then husband, owned a college bar that he held on to. I wound up with less than a quarter of what I imagined to be our shared money. I swore that I would never be in that vulnerable position again. When my first marriage ended in my mid-20s, I was thrown into a financial panic. I'd married at 18. I did not have a career or even a college degree. My then husband owned a popular college bar that he held on to. I know for a fact that Bill Stevenson, this was the main point of contention in the divorce. He was able to keep everything. She was already dating Joe Biden. It shouldn't have happened that way in Joe Biden's Delaware. Joe Biden doesn't lose to some saloon owner by the name of Bill Stevenson. And I know he put her up to that, right? You deserve a piece of that bar, Jill. Well, the judge didn't give it to her because she didn't deserve it. Because she had an extramarital affair. And there's something else that I put 2 and 2 together. Joe Biden got married to Jill in 1977. Now, where did they get married? I mean, she has roots in Pennsylvania and South Jersey. He, of course, is from Delaware. Also has, Scranton, PA, right? Scranton. That real hellhole, Scranton. What the hell's wrong with Scranton? I'm from Scranton. Anyway, you know where they got married? They got married just a few blocks from here at a place called the United Nations Chapel. Yeah. And it's on 49th Street, right down the block, actually. I could go during the commercial break. And it's not even a full-fledged church. It's like an office within a United Nations building. Now, why the hell would they get married there? Again, he was the sitting Delaware senator at the time, 1977. He knew presidents. He was a star. Yet they come up here to marry, not at St. Patrick's, not at St. John the Divine, but a little chapel that nobody knows about. You know why? Because there were still whispers about Joe and her, how they met, the extramarital affair. Did the affair start before or after the death of his first wife, Nelia? These are reasonable questions that people were asking. Also, there was a pretty significant age gap. So according to Jill, their first date was when she was in college. He's a U.S. senator going out with a college girl. I don't care where you are, what the era is. That's not generally approved of, shall we say, right? College girls are supposed to be going out with college guys, not United States senators. But they were. And she said it. And the other thing is this. I caught her big time. A friend of mine asked, well, how do you have evidence? Do you know for a fact that... Well, here's what I know. Let me get this thing here. Joe and Jill, how they met. They have told a million different stories over the years. But I had to go back to it and review some of the following, okay? So, let me take this. The most readily available evidence indicating deception is that in her book, she describes her first date with Joe as a blind date. Now, for years, she has told others, including Piers Morgan, all the way back in 2012, that they initially met at a fundraiser. Okay, they met before. And she says in her book that they met on a blind date. However you slice it, if you meet somebody at a fundraiser and then you go on a date with them, that's not a blind date. It's not the apt description of that alleged first date in 1975. And remember, you got to remember this about my friend Bill Stevenson. Bill Stevenson says he threw Joe Biden a fundraiser prior to the 72 election at the Stone Balloon, the bar he owned, and says that's where Jill met Joe. And Jill has said the same thing about meeting Joe at a fundraiser. Just so happens that her husband had a fundraiser. You get it? And there's more indication of deception. She said on a show called Frontline The Choice that she was in the DuPont Hotel on election night 1972 and spoke to Joe's first wife. Okay, on election night 1972. What the hell is she doing there? You know what she is? You know how old she is then? 21 years old. What's a 21-year-old girl doing at that thing unless she was friends with the Bidens, as my friend Bill has alleged all along the way? Because getting to talk to the candidate's wife who's just been elected to the U.S. Senate, that shows you're kind of in the inner circle. What was she doing there? She also said when she did go out with Joe for the first time on the Piers Morgan interview, she was still in college. She was in college the entire time. She was married to Bill, graduating in 75, we think. Now, the divorce was reportedly granted in 1975. I have not seen that documentation, but that is a number you see, a year you see. Now, there is an outside chance that the divorce was granted early in 75 and that blind date happened after the divorce but before the graduation. But the entire time, again, she was married to Bill. She was in college. The paperwork I do have that to me is the most incriminating for the Bidens and really seems to confirm their animus toward Bill Stevenson. In addition to this quote in the book, in the new book, this is not a book from 20 years ago. This is a book that came out last week. And she writes again, when my first marriage ended in my mid-20s, I was thrown into a financial panic. I'd married at 18. I did not have a career or even a college degree. My then husband owned a popular college bar that he held on to. I wound up with less than a quarter of what I imagined to be our shared money. I swore that I would never be in that vulnerable position again. That is something that left a mark on her, and I'm pretty sure Joe Biden too, because Bill Stevenson, the next part of his story is they took vengeance on me. And this is where his story is totally backed up by, well, an indictment. It's funny, the indictment got him in trouble, and now it actually gets the Bidens in trouble, in my opinion. Because Bill Stevenson is arrested in 1982. And this, to me, confirms, again, the animus toward Bill Stevenson. In 1982, Bill is arrested, and the charge is failing to pay payroll taxes on his business for the first quarter of 1982. First quarter of 1982. January, February, March. 12 months in a year. 3 of 12 is 1 quarter, right? First quarter, and not fiscal year government stuff. This is it. This is when it ends. March 31st, 1982. Bill was arrested by the FBI on April 8th. of that same year. That's 8 days after the payment was due. 8 days later. Now, how much was the payment? Was it $8 million? No. It's $8,000. Federal charges were filed for an 8-day late payment. So some people I know is like, well, that's not evidence. Where's the evidence? No, that is evidence. This is evidence. And by the way, what people say, well, that's hearsay. Well, but one person says and another person says, and you can compare it, interviews and the rest, books, things that people write in books. This is evidentiary. And Bill has been telling this story now to me for almost 6 years. And he is always consistent. The Bidens have told all kinds of different versions about how they met, including the whole thing about the movie. My mom and dad met and went on their first date in 1963. And I knew this as a kid. They went to go see the movie Psycho that was playing in Hempstead. It's quite a moment when Piers Morgan asked, where did you go on that first date? We went to the movies in Philadelphia. Do you remember what the movie you saw? No, I don't. And yes, when they got married in 1977, they got married at the United Nations Chapel in New York City. Odd venue considering he was in the Senate from Delaware. Her family was in South Jersey and Willow Grove, Pennsylvania. Speculation? Whispers? Was he trying to downplay it? Because when you're a politician and the next year is an election year and you're a widower and you're remarrying, that's a big story. That's a good news story. Unless it came about via an extramarital affair while your first wife was alive. Some people are wondering, and it's a legitimate question. Bill Stevenson is in jail. I hope he's safe. I'm hearing some grim things from that little jail in Wilmington. Bill, stay strong and don't do anything stupid, and do not take a plea deal until we talk. Be right back.
Let me tell you about ProHealthConnect.com. It's transforming healthcare payments, providing retailers a seamless process for over-the-counter and healthy benefit programs. By connecting retailers, health plans, and payment processors, ProHealth Connect creates one powerful, unified network. They empower independent grocers and pharmacies to accept health benefit cards without changing how they do business. With over 10,000 locations nationwide, helping more than 1.3 million people access the care and nutrition they need. Go to ProHealthConnect.com.
Greg Kelly
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Okay, we are back. It's T-minus how many hours until the Knicks game tonight? You're going to be intense. They just canceled the watch party right outside the place. I don't think that was a really good idea ever, whether the president was coming or not coming. You don't have 10,000 people outside of Madison Square Garden when you got 30,000 people inside of Madison Square Garden, right? What are they going to do when they come out, right? It's like it's a bad soup. You don't want that. You want to get people out efficiently. You don't want them to get out and then more crowds. No, bad idea. The president is coming. I wonder how they are going to get him in and out of there. I once was led to believe that there was a tunnel going from the Hotel Penta right across the street into Madison Square Garden, but that I don't think that exists anymore. The Hotel Penta doesn't exist. Bill Clinton, when he was nominated in 1992, you know how he got there? He walked. He walked from Macy's. They had him walk down the street from Macy's to Madison Square Garden and into Madison Square Garden. It was kind of cool. But those are the things of yesteryear. 800-848-9222. 800-848-9222. Coming up, a 69-year-old man who doesn't know how to live, doesn't know how to act in public. Scott Pelley.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
All right, we're here with somebody I think is going to be the next Elon Musk. Female version. Sorry, Brittany Kaiser, but you're amazing. Brittany Kaiser from Alpha Compute. They're on the cutting edge of this AI stuff and privacy concerns, because I am now unloading everything, my heart and soul, into AI. It knows so much more about me than even my wife, and I'm trusting it to do the right thing with this information. Brittany, welcome back. How are you?
I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so happy with what you just said, because I think everyone is having the same experience in their daily lives where they're a little worried about how much information they're putting into the AI, but they're addicted to it and are going to go deeper.
Because it gives you great advice, and it becomes kind of like a friend.
Yeah, that's what it's trained to do. It's sycophantic.
Well, let me ask you this. Is it really sycophantic? I'm using ChatGPT, and I do find it pushes back, but I hate to think it's being sycophantic. I mean, is it really?
It's made to please you so that it becomes your AI assistant, your AI friend. Would you keep an assistant if they weren't there to please you?
I suppose not, but don't they have this broader truth to live up to? I mean, I tell it a lot of stuff, and it seems to understand. It seems to really understand. It's just a great big head game, isn't it?
Well, it has access to most of the world's information that's ever been produced. So in ways it does understand. It's able to reason more than low IQ human beings, for sure.
Oh, boy. All right. Now I'm feeling very small. I felt so smart. Well, let's put that aside for a moment. These AI data centers that are going up all over the place, I understand, was it Meta is making a bunch under tents? They put tents up so they could work 24/7 no matter the rain. What are these things? Why do they need them? And is it a threat to us?
So I think a lot of people are mad at AI right now because of what we just talked about. Everyone's getting addicted to it. They're putting all of their information in it, and they realize it's stealing from them. They realize that maybe AI infrastructure might be hurting their local environment. Some people are mad about both the privacy thing and the environment. But I think what a lot of people are not really recognizing is that in order to secure our borders and have national security and data protection, we need to have our own American data centers. Otherwise, we're sending all of our data abroad to our enemies, third parties that don't have America's best interests at heart. But if we stop the building of AI data centers, that's our only choice. Because, of course, American companies and Americans are going to keep on using AI, right?
So we need these data centers. We need them.
Yes.
By the way, what are they? I mean, I thought we had all the, I don't think about what the hell's happening when I send an email. But I guess we need a great big factory with, not a factory, a data center. Great big computers that store all this stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we do every day. We take NVIDIA chips in computers that are built by Dell or Supermicro. We put them in data centers, and then we lease the compute power so people can use AI.
Who's really pushing back? I mean, it sounds, I hear grumbling about it, but are members of Congress saying we got to stop these AI centers? They are.
Yeah. Do you remember when President Trump and the CEOs of a lot of top AI companies went to China?
Yeah.
As soon as they went on that China trip, all of a sudden there was a huge disinformation campaign that was released in the United States, all about how AI data centers and energy developments in America are bad for the environment and things that you should come up against. And they dropped over 300 local bills across the United States to stop AI data center development. I mean, that's like the craziest cyber warfare tactic I've ever seen in years since COVID. It's completely insane that, of course, when everyone in China knows that all the top people in America aren't at their desks and aren't paying attention, that everyone in America is all of a sudden upset about America competing against China in the AI race.
So this was waged by China?
In my opinion, I think Kevin O'Leary has the same thing. He believes that and has submitted over 90 pages of evidence to Congress.
So the point was when those executives were over there, were they over there to send a message back home? Like, I'm getting a little carried away. Were they flexing their muscle? Like, we could build these things in China? And they weren't doing that. That was why were they there?
Well, I mean, China's still a huge technology partner of the United States. They're there to do business. They're there for diplomacy. But in the end, we're in a race against China. Who's going to have more data centers and more power and be able to wage better AI warfare? Who's going to be able to protect their national security interests and data of their own country? Well, you have to have your own infrastructure in order to do that.
Who are some good guys that we should listen to in all of this? There are a lot of people out there, a lot of podcasts, a lot of tech guys. Seth Rogen seems to know everything about everything, but he doesn't. He's stoned all the time, by the way. That's a real problem. Yeah. No, I mean, who are the trusted voices right now on this stuff?
I'm really saying, like, Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary is the most, I would say, loud voice on the Hill right now, where he's been documenting evidence that this is a Chinese disinformation campaign and that Americans are being basically brainwashed to think that building our own energy infrastructure is going to raise electricity prices. Obviously, if AI data centers are funding the development of new energy developments, that is going to lower electricity costs when these energy developments sell back into the grid. So what everyone's mad about doesn't make any sense. They say it's killing birds, it's hurting the local water supply. It's like, okay, well, stop watering your lawns and hitting birds with cars. Like, I don't know what we're talking about here. This doesn't make any sense. But it's obviously been paid for. These campaigns are very well funded, both at home and abroad. And then we have AOC and Bernie Sanders that are leading this charge, which is really just, gutting America's economy. It doesn't make any sense at all.
Let me tell you my AI story. Yeah. All right. No, it's very counterintuitive. I was very surprised and encouraged, actually. So I know what it's like to write. I'm a broadcaster. I don't write words to be read for the most part. Mm-hmm. I don't, a lot of it's extemporaneous and whatever. Broadcasting is different from writing. A couple of times a decade, I would say 5 times a decade, once every 2 years or so, I will sit down with discipline and diligence and write a piece for, say, the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal, and I can get it published. It takes me about 4 days of intense effort, solitary, give or take a little bit, plus or minus, 4 days, a week, a little less, and I get it in, and it's immense satisfaction, right? Wall Street Journal, Greg Kelly, and the op-ed, not a letter to the editor, but an actual op-ed from me. In February, I had an idea about a story that I wanted to do. And I did not have, I didn't want to spend 4 days doing it. So I'm going to use AI for this one. I'm going to use AI and I'll be done in a couple of hours, hopefully, maybe even less. That was in February. And I'm using AI I've been working on it for almost 4 months nonstop with AI. It has grown and grown and grown in complexity. And I guess the thing I'll tell you that I wasn't expecting, as I work this process, I am now an editor. I'm editing a lot of what AI is doing, and AI is making a lot of mistakes. It's very, very unsophisticated in certain ways, and it's a little bit, but I love it. I love it as a sounding board. I love the back and forth. So to me, I don't feel like AI, there's no way AI could be doing this without me. Mm-hmm. And I feel like a lot of people would have seen the first draft of my story and said, oh yeah, that's great. But it wasn't great. It was inherently, it had problems. I mean,
but you know better.
I do know better. Now, at the same time, it has now become this thing. Like, I've done about 400 or 500 drafts. Mm-hmm. I could not do that with a person.
No, for sure. Absolutely not.
So it's just interesting. I guess my question to you is, does that experience resonate with you? Are others having similar experiences? It's not an efficiency tool. It is something. I don't know how to categorize it, but it's wonderful. It's not scary, but I'm wondering if I'm being jerked around now.
No, I mean, I would say a lot of people see AI as an employee, but I want to make sure that people aren't thinking that this is your chief marketing officer. It's your assistant, or your PA, or your research team. It's not meant to be in final form. You definitely still have to be its boss. You still need to be the one that's looking through it and making sure it is what it needs to be, and that it's not something generic when you're doing something as important as an op-ed. An op-ed is your voice and your opinion and your expertise, so it has to always be coming from you. And while drafting assistance is great, and I'm a lawyer and I'm the CEO of a public company, so I use it for drafting assistance all of the time, whether I'm writing LOI, MOUs, like definitive contracts, and then I put on paper what I need, and then I pass it over to my legal team. But I can, with AI, do the best first draft and save on my legal bills, and I love it, But that's why we want to make sure that Americans don't have to send all of their personal thoughts abroad when doing things like this. We should be able to use AI in our daily lives without being afraid that something bad is going to happen because we're sending our data to China or we're sending our data anywhere else besides, our own borders.
And this is a million times more invasive than, say, our Google searches, potentially, right?
Yeah. Oh,
it knows
absolutely.
It may, like so much more. So I will tell you that after, when I'm still wrestling with this thing months later, and it is better, I have thought more than once, damn, maybe I just should have done it the old-fashioned way. I would have been done with it by now, and it would have been, I feel like the perfect, have you ever heard this? The perfect is the enemy of the good.
Yeah.
And this thing kind of gives me the, wait, maybe I can make it perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get a Pulitzer Prize when this thing is done. And no, it makes me really, I don't know. If we'll see. We'll see what kind of reception it gets. You know what I mean? Oh, well.
I'm literally in the same process. I'm writing an op-ed about this AI data center issue, and I wanted it to not touch AI at all. So I've been drafting for the past couple of weeks by myself. It would just, my brain and a Word document. And I keep on wanting to go to AI and asking it for things. So now I've just asked for singular facts so I can just copy and paste a fact and not have the prose be in the AI format. So all the prose is from my mind, and I'm using it for quotes and to fact check and things like that. So I'm using it really as a research assistant and not allowing it to draft, just so that it sounds naturally like me.
Sure.
Because it is me.
One more thing here about the, I talked to smart people like these guys from MIT, and they got, New York, they got these finance jobs, and I asked them, do you use AI? And they do, but they all use it differently. And they all use it like there's no standardization in terms of how to employ this thing. Sometimes people think AI, well, that's we do it for this, this, and this, and this, and this. And it doesn't seem to be there yet. I mean, everyone's a little bit scattered.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's still new for everybody. 2026 is the first year where the entire world really had access to AI tools in a way that are easy to use and understandable. And so it's this like crux of a time where everyone went from not having that technology to having that technology, but where we have that technology is not a safe place to have it. We have it in platforms that we give up in the terms and conditions ownership of everything, where this data is being sent abroad. It's ending up in millions of databases around the world, and all of our inner thoughts, IP, copyright, patentable materials are all in someone else's database. It doesn't really need to be that way.
You're a lawyer as well.
Yes.
Where'd you go to law school?
I went to Edinburgh University, University of London, and Middlesex, all in the UK.
What the hell were you doing over there?
Yeah, after going to boarding school here at Phillips Academy, Andover, I went even further abroad.
Phillips
to Edinburgh.
Academy?
Yes.
I saw you walking around with a cowboy hat.
I know. I was born in Texas. But boarding school in Massachusetts.
Very cool. Like you went off at 9th grade, 8th grade. How old were you when you left?
So I was 13. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a big move. How'd you get into technology?
I actually got into tech by working in politics. So when I started working on political campaigns, I saw that the best way to get my candidate's voice out was to use new technologies. So,
and who did you work for?
I have now worked on 9 U.S. presidential campaigns since I was 15 years old.
What was the first one?
First was Howard Dean.
Oh, yeah!
John Kerry, Barack Obama, Donald Trump, Ben Carson, Ted Cruz, and Brock Pierce, and
some of those guys
and
were,
Bobby Kennedy.
Some of those guys were running against each other.
Oh yeah, for sure. I know.
Hired gun. No, that's good. And the first one was Howard Dean in 2004, huh?
Yes. I started in 2003. We did the first ever digital fundraising campaign with emails, and we broke all fundraising records. We sent out one email and raised $30 million, and everyone thought we were genius.
Well, that's actually my next question. One little thing about this. Now, I feel like I'm not talking about you. All right. I want to make it clear. I'm not talking about you, but there are certain people who are really good at the tech, and there are certain people who are senior to them, or certainly 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 2004, the senior people weren't good at the tech, and they became overly infatuated with the people who were good at the tech, and then they put those people in charge of the whole operation. And I don't want to, reveal any names, but his initials are Robbie Mook. And they put him in charge of the Hillary Clinton campaign because he was really good at computers, but the guy wasn't really good at life or common sense. And this is what we got. I mean, luckily, I'm glad that President Trump won. Beyond glad, but
yeah, I was on that team.
The Robbie Mook's team?
No, I was running Cambridge Analytica.
Oh, and
I was on the Trump team.
Brad Parscale?
Yes.
How's he doing? That guy's a genius, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's still doing great. We were working with him for most of the campaign, so in Houston headquarters.
All right. Any tips? I'd like to make some cash here if I can.
Yeah, well, what do you mean? You're betting on midterms or what?
I don't know. Anything that all right. I guess you can't be so obvious. Listen, Brittany Kaiser, you got it all going on. Alpha Compute, right?
Yes, sir.
Amazing people. What's the website?
If you go to alphacompute.ai.
And it's alpha like Moonbase Alpha.
Oh, yeah.
Space 1999. ALPHA.
Mm-hmm.
Say it again, please.
ALPHA, alphacompute.ai.
Alphacompute.ai. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Very much. All right. To be continued, and we'll be right back.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Wow, fascinating stuff. This AI is, just when you think you understand everything, I'm thrown for a mega loop. I just don't understand. Lee, in Pennsylvania, you wanted to say something about the what?
Yes, I did. First of all, love your show. You're a terrific host. Listen, I taught writing for a long time in college, and right now I'm just starting a writing piece, and I was listening to your commentary before about AI, and something very similar struck me, and I thought to myself, is there any way that AI can come back after helping you quite a bit and say to you, hey, I really helped you, I'd like to be a co-author?
It's interesting. I actually have thought about this, and here's where I am on that matter. If AI were a person, they would have complained to my boss, complained to my wife. They would probably not like me. They would say, I don't want my name on this thing because it's not my work. It's an interesting idea that has crossed my mind. And at this point, I can confidently say that this thing cannot claim authorship. It would be, at best, I would put him at the end, you know what I mean? He researched, or sometimes in those New York Times stories, you'll see it's by, Maggie Haberman, and then at the end, they'll have other reporters who assisted. You ever see it? It would be more like that, at least on this project for me right now. I've thought about that very issue, and that's what I think. That's how it struck me, because I'm using it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Quick second question. Is there any question about privacy? For example, if you bring up an idea in your writing and have it commented on by AI, could AI then forward it to some other author and say, hey, I've got a great idea for your book?
I think that's the privacy concern that Brittany Kaiser is getting at. That possibility potentially exists. And I think it's something to keep an eye on. I should probably, that very specific question, because I think you got a specific project, I'm going to follow up with her. All right? I'm going to follow up with her, and I'm going to announce the answer tomorrow. What time do you, right about now, okay? I that's a good question, and I want that answered, okay?
Okay, I will be listening to that show, absolutely.
All right, I'll try to do it right about now, just before 2:00 tomorrow. All right, and if I forget, I'll do it the next day. But we're writing this down, and all my people are in place. Okay, thank you very much, Lee. We have time for one more? No, actually. Sorry if we all geeked out on that one, but it's a fascinating moment. All right, the Knicks. What time is the game? 8:30. It's a little bit late. Baseball starts a little bit earlier. 7:30 generally, right? 7:30. Anyway, go Knicks for the most part. I'm not that passionate about it. Although I really don't like that French guy from the San Antonio Spurs.
Thanks for listening to The Greg Kelly Show. You can hear The Greg Kelly Show weekdays at 12:15 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Roger Stone here. Your dollars are losing ground, but gold isn't. American Sovereign Bullion helps you protect your wealth through real, tangible assets. Through their nationwide wholesaler network, you get some of the best pricing on gold and silver delivered straight to your door. Since 1912, the U.S. dollar has lost 97% of its purchasing power. Meanwhile, gold continues to prove its strength. So call 844-272-2428. That's 844-272-2428. Or visit dyingdollar.com to request your free gold and silver guide. That's dyingdollar.com.